So just
Okay. All right, let's just go back into it. Um, so your resume and activity section. So suppose you worked like super hard in high school, right? And you like after school didn't come home until 9 every single day. All of that is pointless if you can't show it in your resume and in your activity section. So somebody that worked half of the amount that you did, but they know how to frame their activities to seem more impressive, will go further than you will. So it's really important because these are the only two ways to speak for everything you did over the past 4 years. So it's really important that you get the best return on whatever you write. So they both are a little different, but in your resume and your activity section, you have to make sure that your descriptions are really brief, but they really focus on what you did and they really focus on the change that you made. So there should be absolutely no fluff. It should be completely just like facts, facts, and facts. And actually, in the activity section description, you don't even have to make it like transition or sound good at all. Like you can just say like organized meetings, did this, did that, did that. Like it's just there for the description because you only have 150 characters to write about an entire activity and you only have 10 activities. So it's like really important that it's done in the most concise way possible and it's done with like the best interest of you in mind and it shows the best version of you. Um, so the resume is a little bit different. You have a little bit more space, but it's really important that that's also really well formatted. You have like your name in the front, you have all your education stuff together with your scores and all of that, and then you separate your activities if you do have a lot in terms of like a lot of people do like internship slash research and then they do like school club separately, whatever it may be, depending on your specific situation. But like every single person whose resume I've seen, like they're always selling themselves short. So make sure that you do not do that. Um, any questions on the essays or resume? Okay, sounds good. It's honestly kind of hard to give advice like generally to such a big group of people, because like I would have to read your essay specifically and tell you like, oh, this is what you're doing good and like this is what you should not do. But overall, it's just making sure that you can show like a sense of like dedication, maturity, all of those things, while also not seeming like a robot. Like they want to see your personality, they want to see your character. That's the whole point of these essays. And like just like the essays, that's what the interviews are there for as well. So you will most likely have two different types of interviews. First, it's a traditional interview, one on one. You'll get questions like, oh, tell me about yourself. What do you like to do in your free time? Stuff like that. They just want to get to know you as a person and they want to know like why you're interested in that specific college. They want to know like more about your activities. They want to like kind of gauge the kind of person you are. And this is why I said it's really important that you don't just do your activities for the sake of a resume because they can see through it. Like they've been trained to see through it. So same thing with the why medicine. Like you're gonna have to explain why medicine, why your activities, and basically vouch for everything you've done while also showing personality and like being very nice to them and like engaging a good conversation. My personal interview with the medical school that I am currently going to go to is it was I think 2.5 hours long, which is like a very long interview, I know, but um I've like talked to other people that also got in the program and their interviews were also really long. So I guess like they liked the fact that we could talk about like whatever we were interested in for that long and hold the conversation. But it's really important that you're able to express everything you want to say without like kind of selling yourself short and like falling through the crack. And when you're face to face with like the person that determines whether you're going to get into the program or not, like it's really daunting. So, like, that's why I would recommend that you practice the basics, like the basic questions, have like an introduction, like a quick elevator speech on you, and do like mock interviews with other people as well. So, traditional interviews, I'm sure you've all had something like that before, but the really different type of interview that they're starting to do is called the MMI interview. And this stands for the multiple mini interview. You're going to have multiple interviewers, and they're all like under 10 minutes. So it's like a really like high stress situation because you have multiple people to impress. And it may seem like not a good situation to be in, but it's actually for the better because if you have a bad experience with one interviewer, you can always make up for it. So it's a more holistic process. But the main idea behind these interviews is to see, like I mentioned, your ethics, your character, your values, your opinions, stuff like that. And then obviously you may be asked on your activities and stuff too. But these interviews are different in a way because they're not just straightforward questions. So to judge your ethics, a lot of the time they give you acting scenarios. So it'll be like, pretend you're a doctor and you're in a really conflicting situation. What do you do? So an example that's like really common is like pretend you're a doctor and you have this patient that like doesn't want to inform their family about their condition, but like their family is their only like is what who's like paying for their medical bills and they also like have a huge factor on their condition. What would you do? You're most of the time it's at a crossroads. So you have to show that you have that maturity to handle the situation and you keep your values and your patient's needs at the forefront of everything. You may also get teamwork interviews. So you're working with other people that are also interviewing. So, like other applicants, and you're working in a team to get something done because teamwork, obviously, very important in medicine. They see how you work in a team. You may get interviews on your character, they see your personality. You may be asked about policy, like if there was something you could change, what would it be? You may be asked about like specific things in healthcare. So it's actually important to brush up on your healthcare knowledge in this scenario. There's questions where you have to write your answer, which I always thought was a little weird, but hey, there's probably a reason for it. Um, and then you may also just get like traditional questions like, oh, if you could have lunch with anyone, who would it be? Just to see like different aspects of your personality, see if they like you as a person to be at their college. So that's all I have for interviews, but I'm sure you guys have some type of question, especially about the MMI interviews. So I'm gonna open the floor, or maybe not. Yeah.
I have a quick question on the ethics part. So, I know you were talking about how like you have to like keep the like make sure like the patient is like your main focus, but like is it fine if your answer is like well not necessarily like convoluted, but like it's not like clearly one way? Or does it have to be like you justify both sides and then like you tell them your decision?
So that's actually how they want you to approach those kind of questions. Like they're trying the way that like I would also advise for you to approach that question is to see both sides, say the pros and cons of both sides, and then say like this is what I would do given that. Or like you may not get like the most specific scenario. So you'd be like, if the parents are like, I don't know, like given the analogy that I had before, like if the parents are like neglectful and like abusive, then I would keep like the patient's like thing in mind. Whereas if the patient has like a history of like mental health, I would probably tell the parents, like, so like having that like consideration and thinking above just the scenario that you're given is usually what they look for. there's nothing else, then I can wrap it up.
I had a question.
Yeah.
So when you had your interviews, who was it with? Was it like an admissions officer? Was it some kind of alumni of the program? Just who
Um,
did you interview with?
so I was interviewed with like the people from admissions. Like it was a doctor that worked at the medical school. He's actually retired now, but that's who I interviewed with. But on the undergraduate level, it's usually people in charge of admissions. Like you may get interviewed by like a dean or, like someone that's working very closely with the dean. Um, I know some programs have like student interviews, like they have alumni interviews, but at the medical school level, it will almost always be like with an assistant dean or some kind of doctor that works in admissions. Okay. So, all of that being said, I wanted to end by telling you a little bit about pathway prep. So, basically, how we can help is we will tell you the holes in your extracurriculars and we will tell you this is where you should spend your time. This is what you're lacking. This is how you can make yourself stand out. We will help you with your essays, make sure they all sound good, they're showing the best version of yourself. You would be surprised by a lot of the things that people say in their essays just because they're not paying attention enough. So we will make sure that you're not selling yourself short and you're showing your passion in ways that you may not have been able to think about on your own. We'll help you with your activities section, your resume, all the other little things that go into your application. Also help you make a list of colleges to maximize your chances. And like I said at the end, interviews will give you mock interviews, advice afterwards, and everything to prepare you for when you actually get your interview. And so, like, if you sign up for one of our programs, you would get essay reviewing sessions, application reviewing sessions, interview prep, and like mentorship sessions, which is kind of like what we have now, but it would be one on one. I answer your questions. If you want to spend that time looking over essays, all that other stuff, that's totally fine too. Totally for what you want. And that's basically all we do. But if you do want personal guidance, you can schedule like a free consultation with us today at our website. I will send these slides so you can check it out. But that way I can just help you out in whatever way possible. You can do that with me. And this is just like, if this is something that interests you, because I did come to give this presentation, we do have a little bit of a discount for you guys. You can check that out later. Thank you. If you have any questions, let me know. I know that this is a lot of information to consume in a short time, but I can sit here and answer questions for as long as you guys need. Thank
Thank you
you.
so much for talking for this long.
It's okay. I can talk a lot.
Informative.
So,
You guys have any last minute questions? Else? If anybody in the
um,
chat, last minute question, you can wrap it up around here.
yeah. I I can also put my email in the chat if anyone has any questions. I'll put them. So you guys can just shoot me an email if you don't want to, you know, say it in front of everyone. And then I'll put, if you guys want the consult, you can also figure that out on the website. So we can just hop on a Zoom call and I'll tell you personally what you can do to make your application better.
Awesome. All right. Actually, before everybody leaves, can we like get a group picture, just like everyone in the same shot, so we can
I'm
for
gonna
the
remove the
yeah. So
spotlight.
if anybody in the Zoom call wants to turn on the camera, be a part of the picture, feel free to. Until Zach put his camera on, he gets kicked out. Yeah, Zach, turn the camera on. Everyone, come on. Come on, Zach. Oh. Zach, turn it on. We'll call Crowder on.
Do you guys
Yeah.
want to get the spotlight just so, because there's more of you?
Yep. Yeah, just from my side, I'm looking at it as a gallery view. So, yep, looks
Oh,
good. All All right, sorry. Just do all right. Let's do a quick picture. And everybody's in. All right. All right. One, two, three. All right. Perfect. That's great. Don't post
Yeah, I
those.
don't know how you managed to squeeze everyone in that.
All
That's
right. I
tough.
think that should be good. All right. Thank you so much, Fushi. If
No problem.
nobody else has anything else, I think we can call it a day there.
Okay. Enjoy your afternoon, everyone.
Yep. All
Hopefully
right.
I didn't
Yep. Thank you
add
so
to your
much.
stress.
Yeah, you can just send me everything. I'll post it on the classroom, make it accessible to everyone.
Okay.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you so
Bye.
much.
Okay. I hope
Thanks,
to hear from you guys
guys.
soon.
Yep. Sounds good. All right.